This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1547, How to Navigate Relationships as Your Finances Change, by Lisa Aberle of GetRichSlowly.com. Hello, everybody. I am Greg Audino, your host and narrator here on Optimal Relationships Daily. Though today we will be hearing from a blog more commonly read over on our finance show, Optimal Finance Daily. The Get Rich Slowly blog has a lot of tips for investing and saving and building wealth. But just like anything, you can't pass through those things without them affecting your relationships. So it's really great that they have a piece here today addressing just that. Let's get into it now and hear Lisa Aberle's words of wisdom as we optimize your life. How to Navigate Relationships as Your Finances Change, by Lisa Aberle of GetRichSlowly.com. Have you ever lost a close friend because your financial situations were too different? Maybe your friendship started when you were on similar financial ground, bonding over bowls of ramen noodles, for instance. But once out of college, your first job paid a lot more than theirs did. Or perhaps the shoe was on the other foot. You are still flipping burgers, and your friend is working in the corporate world with a bigger paycheck. Benjamin Franklin once cautioned, quote, "Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship." End quote. But that's not the only ship finances can affect. As you improve your financial situation, you may find that your friendships change too. While not every relationship can be saved, you can patch most holes in your friendships by being aware of common problems. The financial icebergs in your relationships. Despite their best efforts, people often unconsciously compare themselves to others. I'm in better shape than he is. The food in my shopping cart looks more healthy than that junk food over there. I'm saving more than the average because I'm naturally gifted with money management skills. Need I say more? Maybe you don't have these thoughts. If not, that's great. But seeing someone who is more successful in anything can trigger unpleasant and unhealthy emotions in your own mind. Guilt, jealousy, and fear. When you see someone who's exercising more often than you do, does it make you feel guilty about your own lack of exercise? When your friends tell you that they just paid off their mortgage before they turn 30, do you feel a little jealous? If you see someone who's getting their life together, are you scared that you may lose their friendship? So far, we've covered guilt, jealousy, and fear. But many more emotions can threaten your relationships, especially where money is involved. It helps to remember that if you have these emotions, your friends are sure to have similar emotions too. Keep friendships afloat by going first. Sometimes it's hard to have an honest conversation with yourself, let alone anyone else. I'll give you an example. That example of friends paying off their mortgage in their mid-20s. Guess whose friends they are? I'm not proud of my behavior, and it's embarrassing to admit this in a public forum, but I do want to show my human side. When I found out that my friends paid off their mortgage, I said, "Wow, that's great." But this is what I thought. That is just not fair that they already have their mortgage paid off. Why can't we have our mortgage paid off? Lots of whining went on in my head. Embarrassing. And then I stopped whining and started undermining our own mortgage-paying progress. That's what comparison does to people, folks. It helps no one. What does help? Honesty, openness, and good communication. And just being happy for the success of others, too. For my friends, paying off the mortgage was a significant accomplishment. Once I got beyond myself, I was really proud of them. I also have to realize that, while I can be proud of them and wish that we too have our mortgage paid off, I can still be satisfied with our own progress. After all, our mortgage is almost 50% paid off. Could we have paid off more? Of course. I can use our friend's example to inspire us to work harder at paying it off. But it doesn't work to compare our results to theirs. Throwing out a life preserver for your relationships. 1. Be the person you want your friends to be. If you see your friends making good choices, applaud them. Great job paying off your student loan. Or, hey, I know it wasn't easy to stay at the office and eat your PB&J in the break room when everyone else went out for lunch. 2. Show your human side. Do you have friends who seem to make the best financial decision every time? Maybe you seem that way to your friends. If you're the first one to admit your mistakes and missteps, don't be surprised if your friends start to share their own financial disappointments. 3. Deepening your relationships by sharing your challenges can actually provide accountability. For example, if you know your friend is trying to keep her food budget in check, and she knows you're trying to build your savings account, you can encourage each other to keep meeting your goals. When you've built trust in your relationships, you won't be afraid to admit your mistakes, and you'll have the encouragement to keep going. 4. If you want to preserve your friendships, keep the lines of communication open. If your friends are feeling threatened by your financial success, just keep talking. Start small, stay open, and encourage your friends by noticing their financial successes. 5. If they ask for financial advice, give it humbly. If you want to give them a recommendation for a personal finance blog or a personal finance book, be careful how you present the opportunity. Again, consider how you would like to receive advice on one of your own problem areas. How to know it's time to abandon ship. Sometimes relationships don't succeed. Years ago, I had a great friend. We had so much in common. We talked every week and often exercised together, and when she moved away, I naturally missed her friendship. Throughout the years, we've kept up our friendship, even though our lives are different. However, I can see our paths continuing to diverge. We see each other less and less often, and I think it's just a matter of time before we become acquaintances. An older, wiser friend once told me that people come into our lives for seasons and reasons. Sometimes, as callous as this may sound, friends serve their purpose and then move on. How will you know? Do you want to keep up the relationship? Is it too stressful? Do you feel like you're giving too much or making most of the effort? Are you making progress with building trust or deepening communication? Only you will know the answers to these questions and whether it's time to move on. Every relationship has bumps, especially one in which you're not on equal financial footing. While it's okay to move on from challenging friendships, you also don't want to miss the chance to develop great friendships that can help both of you become better at handling your finances. You just listened to the post titled, How to Navigate Relationships as Your Finances Change, by Lisa Aberle of GetRichSlowly.com. And a really honest post from Lisa today, definitely speaking to a small but commonly attended part of our relationships, right? I really like the tips Lisa provided here today, and as I often do, I'm going to encourage you to reflect on how they might be useful should there be jealousy amongst you and your friends in another part of life. Maybe you share similar goals in romance, but one of your relationships is moving much faster than the others, or maybe it's about your career or your children. There really are countless ways we might choose to measure our worth based on expectations we put on ourselves. And therefore, there are countless opportunities to be overcome by that self-comparison, even with those that we care about. So take this article and keep it close by should you feel like your relationships are at risk because of something like this. I wish you luck with that, everyone. It is time to get going for now, but I thank you so much for being here. And again, if this article interested you, do check out Optimal Finance Daily, as this blog is read from pretty commonly over there. And aside from that, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another post. That's where your optimal life awaits.